morning, Your Excellency, Madam Bongkan Waraki, Minister of Natural Resources and Environment of Lao PDR, Dr. Analog Katie Hong, CEO of the Mekong River Commission Secretariat, dear colleagues from Mekong countries and development partners, good morning. This morning, I will be the last presenter, and I hope that I will catch up with the time and do not leave people starving for the lunch. Okay, this morning I'm going to report to all of us about the cooperation of the Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Corporation, which I think is also a case of transboundary cooperation. Just as our colleague Sutong has mentioned that a few weeks ago in the UN Water Conference in New York, Secretary General mentioned that without water, there can be no sustainable development. And also, water might be scarce, but actions to tackle this crisis couldn't be. And transboundary water management cooperation is a critical element in all forms of sustainable development. And these messages are well received around the world because the UN Water published this report throughout the world 2 years ago. And the transboundary water cooperation, in fact, is within the SDG, which is 6.52. And here is the principles of cooperation on transboundary rivers between China and its neighboring countries. First, Chinese government always attaches high attention to the people's livelihood. That means putting people first on the first, which is people-oriented. Whenever there's a case related to people's livelihood and losses of property, actions must be taken immediately. Secondly, fairness and rationality. So that means transboundary cooperation need to be fair enough and mutual respect, and also have rationalities behind. And also, third one is equal emphasis on development and protection, because in many developing countries, people are still living in poor conditions. They need to have better life. And also, on the other hand, just as our colleagues, many colleagues mentioned, they also need better environment and conservation of biodiversity, which means we need to adequately benefit or incorporate these two aspects. Lastly, is good neighboring friendship and cooperation, which means we need to encourage such kind of cooperation on the mutual benefiting on the basis of equal consultation. So transboundary rivers in China are abundant in both water quantity and quality, which have made important contributions to the economic and social development of the neighboring countries. And also, international practice of transboundary rivers proves close consultation, benefit sharing, and mutual trust are fundamental factors for the cooperation, for the successful transboundary cooperations. So this morning, I will give you 3 aspects: brief introduction of the river and progress of Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Corporation, and also next step and outlook. Well, river is clear there, and the message, I think, flows through 6 countries, and also with a total length of nearly 4,000, and the average runoff 15,000 cubic meters per second, and the total annual runoff into the sea 475 billion cubic meters. Well, this is from our colleagues from MRCS, very familiar picture, a precipitation in the basin showing a gradient distribution from east to the west. And also the river provides lots of functions, including hydropower, irrigation, fisheries, wetlands, navigation, other resources to the riparian countries. Here are some pictures. In the upstream, you can see the dams of the Luojiadu and the Jinghong. Jinghong is the last dam. And after the Jinghong, there will be water into the Myanmar and the Laos. And also we can see the dikes, we can see the Mekong in the delta, in the Van Tien, and also in the Phnom Penh. You can see the navigation from Phnom Penh to the sea is quite heavy. And also, this also comes from our colleagues of MRCS, of the hydropower development in the basin. And hydropower generation is expected to reach 30,000 megawatts by 2040, which means a lot of potentials and also a lot of dams or infrastructures, which also means need a lot of consultations. Well, secondly, I will report about the cooperation of the Lancang-Mekong water resources. Well, there is a background there. In 2016, when the leaders of 6 countries met together in Sanya, China, they issued the first Sanya Declaration, which marking the establishment of the Lancang-Mekong Cooperation. And also, on the second Leaders Summit held in Phnom Penh, while the leaders stressed that need to strengthen cooperation on sustainable management and utilization of water resources. And also the third Leaders Summit in Vientiane called for further strengthened cooperation on sustainable management and utilization of water resources, which means leaders of 6 countries who just laid the foundation for the cooperation of water resources among 6 countries. And on the other hand, 6 countries also facing the common challenges, such as frequent drought disasters, degradation of water ecosystems, intensifying water pollution, and the lagging of the water infrastructure. And also 6 countries sharing the common wishes or visions. We need to achieve sustainable development. And also we need to utilize the water resources sustainably. And also we need to meet the demand of water resources and energy, which is the basis or the foundation of Lancang-Mekong water resources cooperation. So far, we have set up an institutional arrangement, which means ministerial meeting of the Lancang-Mekong water cooperation is a high-level policy dialogue body to discuss and decide on important water resources cooperation matters. And also there's the joint working group of the 6 countries, which is the main channel for the cooperation and also coordinating and supervise the implementation plans. And also there is our center, Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Cooperation Center, which is the platform for the cooperation. We provide support to the 6 countries for the implementation of the policies made by the 6 ministers. And also, in parallel, we have the Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Cooperation Forum, which provides a platform for the policy dialogue, technical change, and also consultation on important issues, like today's MRC Summit. And also, we can see that water ministers attach great importance on the water cooperation, and they meet regularly and to design the top-level cooperation. So the key cooperation directions already been identified, such as information sharing and cross-border operation, flood and drought disaster management, improvement of the people's livelihood, and capacity building and joint research. And also, in our cooperation, we also have a 5-year action plan. Definitely, we think that everybody knows that in the Lancang-Mekong cooperation, there's a 5-year action plan. And in our water resource cooperation, we also have a 5-year action plan, which was jointly formulated and implemented by the 6 countries together. And we already complete the evaluation of the first 5-year action plan, and the new term of action plan is being formulation by 6 countries. And we hope this new 5-year action plan will be completed and published by the end of this year. And also, we have the joint working group on the water cooperation. It's a decision-making coordination body. And so far, we have held 3 annual meetings and 12 special meetings. They have done a lot of work, including the endorsements of the concept paper, and also consultation on the first 5-year action plan, and also preparing annual working plans, and also response to the special droughts in the year 2019, and also proposed list of the cooperative projects, and also consultation on the establishment of the information sharing platform. Well, this is our center. Our center was set up in 2017 in Beijing, jointly by 6 countries, in accordance with the Sanya Declaration, which issued in 2016. And our center's aim is to building up a comprehensive platform for strengthening water resource cooperation among riparian countries. Well, as our dear colleagues from Cambodia has mentioned, China has been providing hydrological information of Yunjinghong and Ma'an Station since 2002 in flood season to Mekong River Commission and also other 4 countries. And also in November 1st, 2020, this information provision has been extended throughout the year. This, I think, also in case of the significant changes of water level of Lancang River, joint working group will keep other working groups of members informed so that they can make relevant regulations or warnings to the downstream residents. And also, we already launched information sharing platform web page. It's online. In this page, you can see the water levels of the Yunjinghong and Ma'an of each day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., real-time information. And also, we have some news coverage of the activities of the 6 member countries. And also, of course, UN Water News is there. And also, the UN Water Conference in New York was also covered. And in the past years, capacity building and technical change has been one of the key priorities. And over the years, within the framework of Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Corporation, over 1,000 technicians, officials, and scholars were involved in the exchange programs, seminars, and workshops. And also, we have a special feature. We have a senior water talent program for Lancang-Mekong Corporation, which was implemented by Hohai University in Nanjing, in China, since 2017 so far. Around 162 scholars in total from the Mekong countries have been awarded with master degree of water-related subjects. And they will definitely, I think, such kind of program will contribute to the capacity building in the Lancang-Mekong basins. Well, you can see these are some pictures of these students' life in the campus. They enjoy much study and also performances and the singings and also the exchange programs. Well, since 2017, Chinese government also provides around 270 million Chinese yuan for the implementation of over 50 water-related projects in the 6 countries. Focusing on water resources management, water infrastructure development, flood and drought management, dam safety, and information system. Due to the time limit, I will not go one by one, but rural water supply, small integrated small river basins, and dam safety, as well as photovoltaic water lifting irrigation technologies, and also preparation of the outline of master plans, and also the disciplinary system and the support of facilities for the research institutes, and also the National Water Data and Information Center in Laos, and also the formulation of comprehensive planning of the major river basins, and also the hydrological observation and data transmission capacities, as well as irrigation development planning of major green producing areas. I think those actions, those projects are more focusing on people's livelihood and also on the improving the capacity, because our country, we all know that without accurate data and information, we cannot manage the river well. We cannot manage the river soundly. We cannot manage the river wisely. And another aspect I would like to introduce to all of us is about the MOU between MRCS and also our center. This MOU was signed in 2019 in Beijing, I think. The reason, I think, is clear, as I mentioned, that we need to seek synergies from 2 mechanisms. And our cooperation areas is clearly on the screen. And we are also very pleased to have our CEO visiting Beijing in the last February. And we have very good discussion about how to cooperate together. And well, there is one example, as also mentioned this morning by our colleagues from Mekong countries. It's a joint study on the changing pattern of hydrological conditions of the Lancang River Basin and also the adaptation strategies. The reason is clear, just to provide a better understanding of the changing patterns of the hydrological conditions of the river basin to enable addressing basin-wide flood and drought risks exacerbated by climate changes, and also present recommendations for the coordinated actions at the river basin, both basin level and the country level, in the short term and the long run. Well, we have, for the joint study, we have three tasks for the historical changes of the river basin, flow patterns and the causes, reasons, what is the real reasons. Secondly is trends of the changing patterns on the runoff and under the climate change. And also, lastly, we hope that we can present some feasible, practical actions, recommendations for countries to take jointly in the future. Definitely in our water cooperation, we also organize some public communications. For instance, we organize activities such as experiencing Lancang-Mekong River exchange, and also we organize joint news gathering activities. This was organized in the last year, last October, in Yunnan, China. We invited the young diplomats and also the young students from Mekong countries to visit the 2 dams in China, and also to see how they manage the cascade hydropower stations, and also how they treat the resettled villagers, as well as how they conserve and protect the reservoir area, and also how they concern downstream environment by damming technologies. And also these are some, we also do some surveys, local surveys in the Mekong countries. We have issued some science handbook in local languages, and we undertake a community survey with special design questionnaire to see whether or not they are aware of our water resource cooperation, what's their expectations, etc. Well, I think in the past 5 years, we have been gathering lots of efforts together to push water resource cooperation. And we have been, making lots of friends together. But what's the next? Next, more important than the past. Well, we have our cooperation already. So in the past, we have our priorities. But in the new term, we need to also still continue to identify our priorities, what's the goals, what will our corporate framework, where will be the funding sources coming from, so that we can achieve our designed results, we can encourage more knowledge sharing, information sharing, create hubs and networks among ourselves, and also we need to integrate the water development strategies and policies among our basin countries. And also, as the theme of this MRC Summit, we need to have innovation. And also, we need to have strong mind to implement. Definitely, there are approaches, such as we need to have more policy dialogues. We need to undertake joint researches. We need to focus on the capacity buildings. And also, we need to jointly implement projects benefiting the people. Well, we have a few recommendations in the future. For instance, we need to improve the the cooperation framework. And secondly, we need to strengthen the policy coordination of our cooperation. Especially, we need to jointly formulate the next 5-year action plan, as I mentioned. And also, we need to make plans for the joint projects to push forward 2030 SDG goals, because this number 6 of SDG First one is water and sanitation service, which I think why 6.1 is water and service, because water is human rights. It's basic needs of people. So number 4 is that we need to support the development of the Lancang-Mekong Water Resource Cooperation Center. Our center is a platform for the cooperation. We also encourage more involvement of the member countries working together with us, together with MRC Secretariat. And also, we need to deepen our water resources management cooperation at the basin level, and to strengthen regional water cooperation synergy and achieve future sustainability and shared benefits, which needs a lot of discussion, and also we need to promote more researches on this. Well, number 6 is strengthen the overall coordinated operation of the infrastructure in the upper and the lower countries to minimize the effect on the environment. Our colleagues mentioned that it's a long river. Upstream, downstream may have different interests or the priorities. So we need to have more coordinated operations and coordinations. And the 7th, we need to strengthen public participation and advocacy in the water sector. Just as our colleagues have mentioned, water is part of life. Water is the source of life. Water is related to the sustainability, is the core of the sustainability. However, we need to make more dissemination or campaigns or initiatives to let people know this throughout the basin. Lastly, but not least, we need to strengthen water resources management capacity building. People is still in the core. Even with the best strategy, if you don't have the capacity, you don't have the talent people to implement, it will only be a paper. So that's why we still focusing on the capacity building. We hope that jointly we can make a better life. That's all. We have the same, share the river, share the future, which I think echoes the spirit, one Mekong, one spirit. Thank you very much.